All right, so Jund mid-range. Let's explain some of the vernacular really quick here. So in Magic the Gathering, every 3-color combination has a keyword. So in this instance, Jund refers to red, black, and green. So every red, black, and green deck in Magic could be referred to as a Jund deck. A mid-range deck, Young Decay with the brand new Prime support. Thank you very much and welcome. I appreciate that. Mid-range decks refer to a deck that has different rules depending on which type of matchup that it's playing. So a mid-range deck, when playing against an aggressive deck, will assume a more controlling role. And when a mid-range deck plays against a more controlling deck, it will assume a more aggressive role. We need more shovels. Indeed. I was watching years ago, we were getting 250, and now we're at 9K. Well, thanks for sticking around, Be Rich. Thanks for being here. I mostly want to do this for fun, but the people apparently want memekin. Sounds good, Marty. Let's get that cut in here after this one. Perfect. Llanowar Elf is the best start in decks like this. This card basically lets us play 2 lands on one. Let's just start playing our cards ahead of curve. Alright, so I get to play my 3-drop on 2. Against a Godless Shrine, I'm expecting my opponent to be a little bit more controlling. So I'm going to choose to give this card haste so it can attack right away to get a little bit more aggressive. I support Marty's meme kinnery. Wow, that's incredibly awkward. Glad we're playing this instead of spreadsheets. Me too, Gregor. Thanks for the 2 months. Welcome back. So the Tecatli Honor Guard stops the enter the battlefield triggers of my cards, which feels a little bit bad because this deck doesn't have a lot of enter the battlefield effects, except for 4 Regisaur Alpha, which I have 2 of in my hand. You talked about having 4 theaters whenever the deck allowed it. Are you testing asymmetric? So this is a deck that I put together. This was a viewer submitted. They asked me to build a Jund mid-range deck, and I've only included 4 copies of Theater because this deck also has some other top-end Planeswalkers generate card advantage. And remember, there's only so much room to have a lot of cards that don't impact the board in your decks like this. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and trim Regisaur just because they probably have a bunch of Tecatli Honor Guards. I'm going to bring in Lava Coils here because I'm expecting my opponent's black-white deck to have a lot of Flying Angels in it, and Lava Coil is good at killing those, as well as other potential things that they can have on the ground. Is Collision good here? Maybe Collision's good if I'm expecting Angels too. Maybe I split these, because this kills Lyra. Could you please explain how the mana doubling thing works with Wilderness Reclamation on Arena? So you can respond to triggers, even ones that are your own. So in response to your Wilderness Reclamation trigger at the end of your turn, you can float mana and then let it untap your lands and then use all that mana twice, basically. Lava Coil does hit Afterlife Angel, so there's a little bit of give and take for sure. This hand's a little bit awkward because it doesn't have a red source for my Phoenix, but the rest of my spells are very good here. And if I draw the first red source, Incubation Druid will be a second red source. Hey, Wide Fleur, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Is Afterlife big and constructed? It is a bit of a thing. So I guess Tithe Taker, they played a Clifftop Retreat as well. So this is probably why my opponent conceded last game. They were missing one of their colors. So Tithe Taker and red mana makes me think I probably want all of my Lava Coils. That's fantastic. Vivien Reid gets to go in here. So Planeswalkers sit in play and do something every single turn. So she's going to go ahead and tick up here, which finds me a land or a creature. And hopefully she's going to find me a red source here.
I've seen things that would break someone like you.
I don't play in Wizards Pro Tours. I don't really play in events that qualify for them. Also, the Pro Tours have been rebranded. The Pro Tours are now known as the Mythic Championships for Magic the Gathering.
I'm not losing everything.
Justice Strike's an interesting removal spell. So I get to go ahead and play Rootbound Crag here, and then I can play Rhythm of the Wild, and Rhythm of the Wild gives all my creatures a mechanic called Riot, which means when they come into play, I either choose to give them haste or choose to give them a 1/1 counter. And in this case, I want to give this a 1/1 counter because the crab has an ability where when it gets a counter, it gets to get a copy of itself out of my deck. So by putting a counter on this, I generate card advantage. Also, by putting a counter on this, this is a 3/3, which keeps their 2/1 at bay.
No one knows the wilds like I do.
I'd love another Spellbreaker. Yeah, the SCG Open should be sweet this weekend. Not particularly interesting games there. Opponent had a little bit of stumble and die twice. Riot does stack, so if you riot twice, you get to choose twice. What are my predictions for the SCG Open? And this is something that a lot of people probably don't realize. While there'll probably be some new decks at the SCG Open, another thing you have to keep in mind is that getting new cards in paper is very expensive week 1 because there isn't a large supply of them. So I expect a lot of the decks that were good in the previous format, like Jeskai Control and Green-Black, to be successful, especially at the first event. Is there a way to look at the Bant Flash list? Yeah, you can find a ton of sweet deck lists on my website. Click standard decks at the top or deck queue as well. Awkward. I'm on the draw. I'm going to keep this on the draw because if I hit a red source, this hand is kind of absurd. No, there isn't a lot of mono red in best of 3. I think Esper Control will be tier 1 like Jeskai last season. I don't know. I've been pretty unimpressed with the Esper iterations I've played so far. Cool J-Man with the brand new Prime support. Thank you very much for shipping your Beta Bucks this way this month. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Fantastical, just like we drew it up. So which of these do I want to get going here? They could have a Quench here, but at the same time, if I let them get to 3 mana, they're going to be even more likely to have a piece of interaction. So I think I want to try and play this now while they only have Quench up. If this Leader of the Horrors gets down, we start drawing 2 cards a turn, which is going to snowball very quickly for us. So this card exiles the top card of our deck every turn, and then we can only play the cards underneath it if we've damaged the opponent that turn. Hey, Bronze Beard with the brand new Prime support. Thanks for shipping that this way this month. I appreciate that. Are all of my standard lists on Stream Decker? So decks that I have already played are on Stream Decker. However, decks that we will be playing in the future are found on my website in the deck queue. Yep. Sinister Sabotage kind of implies my opponent's not playing Turbo Fog. Some Fog lists do play counter spells, but Sabotage likely means it's a more controlling or maybe a Flash style deck. Another Theater of Horrors. Huh. I think I'm going to start by attacking with both of these. Because if I hit them, I can cast the spells out from under here. So you can see after I hit them, I get to cast these cards. And play them even, because I can play the land as well. Sure. That gives me mana to play Carnage Tyrant, and Carnage Tyrant most notably can't be countered. I don't think that's true, Bulletproof Pope. Like, the fact that you can play lands out from under, it's like, makes it really good. This is bad if they have a Cleansing Nova next turn that destroys all creatures, but if they don't have a Cleansing Nova, I'm pretty happy to jam Carnage Tyrant here. 5/4. Definitely going to start by attacking with just Carnage Tyrant here. That connection is very good for us. I'm going to go ahead and play this. I'm going to pay 2 here because I want a Vivien plus I want to Assassin's Trophy this turn. It's possible I should lead on Trophy to try and bait a counterspell here. Great. I think this card's better than Phyrexian Arena in a lot of instances. Again, only attacking with this because Settle the Wreckage is a card. They also could potentially have flash blockers. So we have a Carnival here, so I'm going to go ahead, or we have a Carnage here, so I'm going to go ahead and lead on that. Make them discard 2 cards and take some damage. So do you have a counterspell? Yeah, I agree, Spawnbroker. This is the type of deck I was really thinking about when we've been talking about Theater of Horrors. Like, it's a mid-range deck, so it can pressure the opponent to trigger Theater consistently, but it also has good card quality, so drawing 2 cards a turn is really meaningful. Yes, if a Magic card exiles something face down, it will explicitly say exile it face down. So if something doesn't say exile face down, it is always face up. Collision sounds great here. Carnival Carnage seems fine, honestly. Gruul Spellbreaker stops them from settling me, which is nice. What do I actually want to trim here? Yeah, we're gonna be on the front page for their half hour or so. Carnival Carnage is maybe too low impact. I want to fit these duresses in. I definitely want to fit in the duresses and the collisions. So, like, what do I want to trim here is the question. Yeah, Vraska's expensive and, like, just gets counterspelled. Vivien shoots things, which is nice. Honestly, I might want to trim some Registors just for a similar reason to trimming Vraska. I'm going to trim a trophy because drawing too much removal is probably bad. Cindervines isn't very useful in this matchup. They have a lot of creatures and could race us. No, they don't have that many enchantments either. And, like, Vivien gives us some enchantment removal, and so does Trophy. I might trim Incubation Druid, actually, rather than my Regisaur. Having just more ramp creatures is probably not great. I want a little bit higher action density. Got a new sub there that I missed. Wallabane, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. How did we get on the front page? No, it's just something that Twitch offered me because I'm a Twitch partner. You are on stream, Porkbelly. I don't know that Eldest Reborn is good enough. It's a little bit slow and clunky, but it's also a pretty impactful card, so I could see that one being good. This hand's really good with a green source, and green is my most common color of mana, so I'm going to keep this on the draw. I believe this is a new peak for viewer count for me. Thanks everybody for dropping in today. I appreciate it. Hope everyone having a good start to your week. Had a good weekend. You have more viewers than most limited GPs. That's funny because it's sad. Yep. Streaming Magic Arena, I see others playing Standard and drafting and MTGO, and they're strictly need a couple. Yeah, I can't imagine why. If you're streaming Magic, the formats that exist on Magic Arena, Magic Online, I have to just conclude you just don't care about your content. All right, so I played the Duress there as opposed to playing one of my 3-mana cards because the Duress is getting negated, because otherwise we get to take that away. It is a little bit awkward that Duress can't take their Mystic Snake card. Their Wilderness Reclamation. Okay, so let's punish them for this card. So that's adorable. Let's trophy this, and the next turn I'm going to play this Rhythm of the Wild. Had another negate. Rough. That's fine. Like, Rhythm is definitely the one I want to lead on there. Getting that countered rather than getting my Theater counter feels good. And then I can go ahead and play this around Quench and then play a Growth Chamber Guardian as a follow-up here, which is nice. I'm still a little under, but Stoneforge Mystic and Discord access is going on. Korluski, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. How much do you recommend spending on Arena to build a deck like this? I'm tempted on building this deck. I don't have a good count offhand for this deck. Usually about $100 gets you most things, but the number of rares and mythics tends to vary the cost a little bit. I think I'm just going to activate this. So this being a 4/4 means it can attack into most things my opponent will put into play here. And it's important that I activate this before attacking, because once I attack, this could get sealed away. $200 packs gets you basically the whole set. You will be missing some mythics, that's true. If they tuck this and don't have a counter spell for Regisaur, we should be in a good spot. Yeah, usually it gets you a good mix of wild cards to build what you want. Because remember, you get guaranteed wild cards by cracking booster packs. Every 6 packs, you get a rare wild card. You can literally purchase singles, Private. When you're buying packs, you are buying singles. Every 6 packs you buy, you get a rare wild card, which gets you any rare of your choice. Plus, you can open packs past that. You're feeling quite dead. I think your quite dead meter is way off, Pikes. As someone who's like the king of being quite dead, I think we're actually in a pretty reasonable spot here. If this gets countered, we're probably dead to the Lyra, but I think we were beating the Teferi before this. I think Lyra is a good addition to the Bant deck, by the way. I think I want to try Lyra and Shalai in the sideboard to help keep up with the aggro decks. Third negate, yep. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pack it in at this point. It's a little bit too much. I think I want the extra trophy to deal with Teferi. He's a little annoying. Yeah, trip 1 duress on the play. Ugh. Yep, yeah, put in a lot of interaction there. And like they had Teferi drawing them extra cards every turn, right? So like they're pretty likely to have disruption while they're drawing more like that. The opponent is not all non-creature spells. The opponent we literally conceded the game because they had a Lyra in play. They are pretty far from all non-creature spells. You're not wrong. Arena is a lot better than Magic Online in a lot of ways. Thanks, Pearl. We're extra high today because of being on the front page for sure, but it has just been up in general for sure. So I'm getting kind of punished here for waiting on the duress because I drew a 2-drop, but I think this is fine. So one of the things you need to remember when you're thinking about Magic and sideboarding and stuff like that, the people who are just randomly shouting cards at me saying, bring this in, sideboarding isn't a thing where you just like cut cards and don't have to, or you bring cards in and don't cut anything. It's a one-to-one process. So like, if you want to suggest I bring a card in, you need to suggest what I need to cut if you want to be helpful and constructive. Spicy Dinosaur, thanks for the 3 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. That's how Magic goes sometimes. A little bit of variance in there. Yeah, the Teamer pod deck that's listed in the stream title is a Prime Speaker Vanafear deck. Pod harkens back to Birthing Pod, which is the artifact that has Prime Speaker Vanafear's ability. Stands great, good strong curve. What's going on, Merc? Thanks for the biddies. No accelerant, but we get to curve really naturally. 2, 3, 4. Very reasonable on the play. Yeah, I should probably lead on Blood Crypt. I guess leading on Blood Crypt bleeds information here, though. Wow. So if we hit another land beat 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, seems pretty reasonable. Have you played against any mono red burn? No. Basically people who enjoy playing mono red all play best of 1. So you don't have to deal with that nonsense in best of 3. We're more civilized individuals when we play best of 3 Magic. We're intellectuals. Explore creatures. So here's the thing about the explore creatures, Quarth. What do you cut? There's so many good cards to change and play in these colors. What am I cutting for an explore package? The explore package is 12 cards. 10 to 12 cards. What 12 cards are you cutting from my deck to make that happen? I am currently standing. My desk just rose up there, and we moved from a sitting to standing position. Do you consider not seeing much red in best of 3 when you're building your sideboard? No, usually I like to include a little bit of respect. I enjoy not getting run out of the game and dying. Sure. Maybe some kind of Bant mid-range deck. I assume we're gonna see these trade here, which seems fine. Decks that are listed in my stream titles are decks that we still have yet to play. So, you see the Teamer Counters deck listed in there. That means it's going to be coming up later today. Did we hit 10K? My numbers don't always update immediately. Did we hit 10K? That would be sick. We got real close. We had like 9,800 there at one point. Bluton, thank you very much for the 413 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Would you be as comfortable in front of 9,500 people in person? Yeah, probably. You can find all of the upcoming deck lists for things I'm going to be playing later today in the deck queue on my website. So, 4 mana up does mean we're in Settle the Wreckage range. Lieutenant. So, it's important that I attack here before playing my spell, because I can threaten to adapt this. So if they block, I'm going to adapt this and eat their thing. I'm new and wondering if there's a worthy meta pirate deck out there so I can see why my IRL deck is good. Yeah, actually, I really like blue-black pirates. You can go to my website, jeffhoagland.com, and click standard decks at the top, and you can find my preferred blue-black pirates list there. So, I kind of like this block for my opponent. While I do get to eat their creature for free, they're buying themselves some tempo, right? By blocking there, they're making me adapt my guardian or lose it, which is using my mana for the turn, which means I'm not adding more pressure to the table. No, I don't think there's anything from the new set that fits into the Pirates list. That's really unfortunate for us. I don't really have a good answer to that at the moment, huh? I think it's just Regisaur Alpha here, so that way Carnage Tyrant can come down with haste next turn. Time to do it! We'll see. What's your opinion on Spawn of Mayhem and Flak Rakdos Flamewheeler? Spawn of Mayhem's really sweet, although I haven't seen a black-based aggro deck that can really leverage him well yet. I'm not sure what Rakdos Firewheeler is the black red card, right? The Amulet deck actually went really well this morning. I was pretty impressed with it. What do I want to do here? If I play the Regisaur Alpha and attack with everything, let's say they block one of my 4s, they go to 14. And they're gonna have to chump block with other things too, right? What if I do this and just smash? Because like they give each other haste. Yeah, let's just do this. I'm pretty sure they have to chump block, right? They eat this. They like block there, and they block. Do they get to double block? No, this is 14, so they have to chump with both of these. Did we hit 10K? Did we do it? Did we do it? Thank you everybody for being here. That's awesome. Y'all are wild. Brecken Sky doling out the sub gifties. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Look at that. We did the math. So I'm trading my Regisaur Alpha for these 2 Thorn Lieutenants plus some damage here. So they're going to 4 and they're losing both these creatures. Thanks everybody for hanging out today. I really appreciate that. It's kind of wild. That's so many people. Can I get a timeout? Of course. Speech. Magic's great. Arena's great. This whole year is wild. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Brecken and Marty, and all my other wonderful crowns that help keep me around. I want a 10K timeout. Oh, is that a good one? What do we think of that? Do you think they're attached to the cards that are in their hand? What do you think? Need a little carnage in your life, opponent? Thunk. Thoop thoop. Bit 'em. Ooh, they have Beast Whisper and Spell Pierce. That's interesting. If I attack with everything again, they block here. They block here. They block here. I trample. They go up to 10. I trample for 2. If I attack with everything, they actually have to block here, right? Because otherwise I trample and kill them. Right? Because if they block here, and then they go block here, this tramples for 2. They take 2, 5, 9. Oh, they don't die. If I attack with everything, they're not dead. I'm gonna pump the brakes for a turn. They have no cards in their hand. There's no reason to be aggressive here. All right, so that is a perfect reason to wait. We hit the 6th land, and we get to, Hey, what's going on, day 9? Happy Monday, and thank you everybody for tuning in today. I appreciate it. That's a wild number. All right, sideboarding. Definitely want these collisions as a way to kill the Lyra in the air. Wanna be Beetle and SCTR doling out the sub gifties. Y'all rock. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the support, folks. So Lava Coil. What is Lava Coil like now? They have Tithe Taker. They have so... What else does this kill? They have Night, which is a little bit annoying. Carnival Carnage probably doesn't kill a whole lot that they have going on, so that's probably an easy trim. If they have a lot of flying threats, Frasca can be difficult to keep in play, but she also kills their flying threats, which is nice. Hey, Mephisto with the brand new Prime support, and Duristan with the brand new Twitch Prime. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way. I appreciate it. What do we think? Lava Coil or no? I feel like I could go either way on this. There's a good chance they have Shalai in their deck, right? 5 subs for 5 digits. Thanks for the 500 biddies too, Beetle. I feel like there's a good chance there's Shalai's hiding over there. Spellbreaker doesn't really attack into many things well in this matchup. It feels like their board's going a little bit bigger. So I'm going to leave 2 of these. Oh, Beast Whisperer. Yeah, that's right. We did see that. I want all of these. They have Beast Whisperer. Rhythm, probably not super important. It also dies to their Knight. Now let's do this. You know what? They're playing Bant and they had Bugler. I wonder if they're playing a Vanafear deck. If they're playing Vanafear, I definitely want all of the Lava Coils. They could be boarding in Settle. That's true. They could very well be boarding in Settle. Time out all 10,000 people, right? We are in fact on the front page for their 10 minutes. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Remember, if you're enjoying my content, make sure you hit the follow button. Following my channel doesn't cost you anything. Let you know when I go live and with what. I'm here streaming Magic the Gathering on Arena here 5+ days a week. So if you find this game interesting, it's free to download and try out for yourself as well. Put these towards the captive audience. John, will do, Matto. Thanks for the support. This hand needs some lands in it, but if we hit some lands, our curves can be very reasonable here, right? It's like Growth Chamber, activate Growth Chamber, Rekindling Phoenix 5-drop. Yeah, I think you're right, Jesus. I think this is likely a Vanampyr deck list from the opponent, which makes the Lava Coils much better. Dark Thor with the brand new Prime support. Thank you very much for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month. I appreciate it. Incubation, sure. We're a real esport now. It feels so weird to not be saying that facetiously. Still, I'm sure after like another 6 months that'll change, but, you know. Oh, don't exclude my Growth Chamber Guardian. He has feelings. So, because we know... Wait, what does this card do? Sacrifice, target creature you control gets indestructible to deter. That's cute. So, no reason to block here. Because they have this Exclusion Mage in their hand, I'm going to play another Guardian out. Well, now I'm going to put Rhythm of the Wild in play. Let's do it. Listen, we boarded the other two out because we'll just draw the one, right? All right, so they hit their third land for the Exclusion Mage, but honestly, they probably don't want to send this back to my hand, because they send this back to my hand, it synergizes with Rhythm, right? This gets to, when it comes into play, it grabs another one, and they don't know that we have the second one in our hand already. So ideally, we're going to draw another green source here, so that way next turn we can go Growth Chamber into second Growth Chamber. Get a little bit of pressure going. Thanks, Shiny Psyduck. Thanks for being along for the ride. Any chance we'll see you play auto chess? No, I'm not sure what that means. So what do we got here? Notably, our opponent is still missing green mana, so they likely have spells in their hand they can't currently play. So they hit their third land, but they haven't hit their third color. Hey, Try with the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Deputy was real good there. I think I'm just supposed to play another Growth Chamber here. Because if I pass the turn and try to adapt this, they're going to bounce it back to my hand. Ideally, I really wanted to hit a green source there so I could trophy this plus get this back. But I guess using trophy on this board is a little bit mediocre because it would give my opponent their third color of mana, right? Arena's pretty slick. I accidentally picked haste off of Rhythm Riot trigger, and it gave a critter that already had haste a 1/1 counter instead. That's awesome, Veneer. They might not have a basic for us. That's true. Some of these decks have incredibly greedy mana bases in our 24 dual land society. Well, I mean, I don't really have anything else to do with my mana. We've not played any Geats decks on stream. We did play someone yesterday that had 0 basics in their deck, or Saturday, right? I wasn't on yesterday. Yes, SC Giants. I'm enjoying the front page ride for a little bit. Interesting to see how many folks stick through. Is that 22 or 26 land still a legit thing? That only exists for best of one, because best of one uses a different opening hand algorithm, and the remainder of your deck is still completely random after it generates your opening hand. So, Mage gets to pick up one of my things here. I don't think I want to trade this for either of these. I'm just going to go ahead and bounce here and take 4, I think. The fact they played the Exclusion Mage here actually is good for us if we draw a land, because it means I can start deploying these Phoenixes and lock the board up. Oh, theater. Oh, theater. Why must you toy with my emotions? Why must you toy with my emotions? Natsu Fish with the brand new Prime support. Thank you very much. Welcome. Thoughts on Elf Ball after Allegiance? We played a really sweet green-red version of Elf Ball that felt pretty reasonable. I added it to my website. If you go to jeffhoagland.com, you can find standard decks on there. Hey, Kev Tor, thank you very much for the Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Why don't I play competitive traditional? Because a lot of the decks that I play on this stream are viewer-submitted deck lists, so I like to have the ability to make edits to the decks in between matches. I have to shock here. If I play a Phoenix, I'm not dead on board. So I've got that going for me. Do I just play Phoenix? Do I play Phoenix or do I trophy this plus play Growth Chamber Guardian? Yeah, I could trophy this, but like giving them a forest seems kind of scary. I think I'd rather do this. I think I'd rather play the bird. Like, I'm dead to a removal spell here, but like we're pretty dead to that regardless, I think. Yeah, Exclusion Mage or Deputy of Detention end the game here. But if they don't have either of those and they attack here, I get to kill two of their things. So I like this aggressive stance from the opponent for sure. See if they have more creatures to play out here or not. So they put that up. They have a counterspell of some sort here. Getting to play Regisaur is really good. Gives me double blockers. This means I'm no longer dead to a removal spell, which feels great. What does that shock mean? Is that shock like a Settle the Wreckage that they wanted to represent there? 10k bits for 10k viewers. Super happy my favorite streamer is doing so well. That's absurd, Greg. Thank you for the very generous support. I appreciate that. Be sure to drop me a line if you want to get a deck added to the queue. If there's something already in the queue you'd like to see sooner. I really appreciate it. Okay, my opponent hit the green swords here, so this probably unlocks a good chunk of their hand. However, the Biogenic Ooze still costs green here, so that's not going to be something that they can play just yet. Lyra is really not that big of a deal, because we've got Vivien sitting here ready to downtick. So what do we have here? We've got Llanowar Elves under there too now. Let's shoot her down.
Sometimes restoration means retribution.
Put the Overgrown Tomb into play. I'm not attacking. I just want to be conservative here. I don't want to lose to an Exclusion Mage or a bounce spell. Coral with the brand new tier 1 sub. Thank you very much for the support. Welcome. I appreciate that. Knight of Autumn. That's sad that we're losing our theater before we got any value out of it, but I definitely don't think I could afford to be too aggressive last turn.
Come to me.
Another Regisaur, fantastic. So I think I want to just go Phoenix into Growth Chamber here to use my mana efficiently, and then this sets me up after this comes into play tap. So this is my 7th land, so next turn I can play Regisaur plus Trophy. Again, I'm not attacking with anything because I don't want to die to a single removal spell. That being said, playing the other Phoenix out here does leave me dead to another Deputy of Detention because Deputy of Detention would exile both of these. Dead to Deputy. We did not shoot the sheriff, but we are dead to the deputy. What you got? This gives 5 looks at something scary. That's not too terribly scary. Prime Speaker. Okay, this is what we've been holding the trophy for. And with putting 2 more creatures into play this turn as blockers, we definitely are positioning ourselves well to be able to start pressuring them out in the air. So I'm gonna go ahead and trophy Prime Speaker here. And then if I attack with both of these, I'm dead to Deputy of Detention. So do I want to leave myself dead to Deputy, is what it comes down to here. I don't think so. I think I'm getting to a point where, I guess if I attack with both of these, the attack with these Tramplers next turn leaves me in a really good spot. I don't want to attack with a Dino, because if this dies, they get a Flying Spirit token. I think there's a good chance there's only one Deputy in their hand. I think I just attack with these two. This does leave me dead to Deputy. Again, I'm not dead to Exclusion Mage or single removal spell, though. Yeah, I think only one Deputy in their Prime Speaker deck is a reasonable assumption, especially with the split, because they have an Exclusion Mage too. So I think playing around a second Deputy doesn't make a whole lot of sense here. I think it's playing to not lose as opposed to playing to win. Yeah, I think ending the game quickly is important. Sure, like, it's possible that they could have 3 or 4 in their deck, but, like, the other thing you have to realize, too, is that, like, every turn I give them with all their stuff is one more turn that they have to, like, draw the thing that actually beats me. We were on the front page. We actually just came off the front page of Twitch, so big shout out to everybody who sticks through after we pop off of that. Hope you're enjoying some Magic this morning. Thanks for hanging out today. I like this attack from my opponent. So this attack from my opponent means that they're just cashing these in and turning them into spirits, because obviously I'm obligated to block them. We are like a big pile of ants getting bigger and bigger. Thank you for the biddies, Luke Talk. I appreciate that. Do you have time to shower before we begin? Definitely. This is only like our second deck with our second or third match with Jund. So we're gonna be going for a minute here. If I destroy this, I get my 3/3 back, right? So if I do this,
that can't help you.
And my 3/3 has haste because of Regisaur Alpha. So these are definitely attacking. I need to be a little bit conservative here. I think I'm only attacking with these, and then I'm gonna play Rekindling Phoenix plus Theater of Horrors. These have Trample, which is nice. I'm at 1, so I don't want to die to these by mistake. I'm gonna attack with just these two for now. Well, Deputy kills me regardless, because it takes all my Phoenixes, which are my only flying blockers. I guess if Deputy's killing me anyways, I should attack with one of these, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 1, 2, 3. I guess attacking with this leaves me dead to... Attack with this leaves me dead to a single removal spell. Let's not die to a single removal spell. Let's attack with 2 through 3 Tramplers, and then play these two out. Yeah, I think I should play around a single removal spell and a Phoenix here. So, I get to play both of these, and the next one I get to draw a bunch of cards too. It's also possible I should have plussed Vivien here rather than destroying the enchantment, because there are 2 Carnage Tyrants in my deck that would have come in with haste. So, that's pretty reasonable here. So, if we don't die this turn, I feel like we'll be in a great spot to win the game. The number of permutations I'd have to go through to figure out if I'm dead on the backswing if I attack all there are like a lot. I don't know if attacking with all wipes their board. If you counted, let me know. Everybody clench. Yep. All right. Things are looking pretty good here. Yeah, they're just dead in the air to the 3rd Phoenix, right? Sweet. That was an awesome game. How are we doing, folks? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everybody wherever you're at in the world. Thanks for hanging out today. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30, 40, 50 hours a week. We play a ton of standard best of 3 constructed here on Magic Arena. If you find yourself enjoying my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the people that keep me employed here full-time. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their wonderful support. By subscribing, you can also support my stuff by checking out some of my very wonderful sponsors. The Nerd Rage Gaming Championship Series is a $5,000 cash tournament series that happens every single month in the Midwestern United States. If you can't make it out to the Midwest to play in one of their standard, modern, or legacy tournaments, you can also find them streaming every single month at twitch.tv/NRG series. Neo provides wonderful candy-flavored protein bars. Using code Hoagland at bit.ly/HugelBar, you can save 10% on all of your orders there with them. BCW Supplies would love to help you protect your very valuable Magic the Gathering cards. Using code Jeff10, you can save 10% at bcwsupplies.com on sleeves, deck boxes, binders, and all sorts of other gaming accessories. And of course, I'd like to welcome everyone out there to Hoaglandia. I know there's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff here on Twitch, and I appreciate you choosing to spend part of your Monday here with us. We are heading on into another match here with this Jund mid-range deck. Got a bunch of sweet standard decks coming up today here still, so don't go anywhere. How do you feel about the hero token deck you played last night? The Mardu hero deck seemed pretty reasonable. This seems like not amazing, but it's fine. If there's something super aggressive, Carnival could potentially slow them down. Got reasonable top end here as well. Could you explain more about the MTGA algorithm for the opening hand? I saw a tip in the loading screen, and I also heard you mention it. I'd recommend you just look it up. I don't actually play Best of 1, so I'm not 100% sure what it is offhand. I just know it's different than playing Best of 3 or Paper Magic. Kill with the brand new Twitch Prime sub. Thank you very much and welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. So, the fact that we were coming up to their Jade Light turn here maybe means that I should have held Carnival up this turn, because Carnival gives you, we can respond to Jade Light Ranger coming into play with Carnival in order to kill it in response to its trigger. Let's go ahead and put this out here and pass. Since they already played one and they binned another, I'm not going to hold it up this turn. I'm new to deck building. Can you see what the general strategy is around Jund? So this is a mid-range strategy. So what this deck is looking to do is it's looking to play high-quality cards and cards that generate card advantage. So Vivien is a card that generates card advantage by drawing extra creatures out of her deck every turn. Things like Rekindling Phoenix are just cards that are very resilient. They come back again and again and again, etc. I've got 2 Carnages in my hand here. So the next couple of turns, we're going to need to start firing off these Carnages, which seems sweet. Just start emptying them out of cards. Yep, down to 3 cards in hand. I think if they attack, I'm going to block here. No attack. Do I just play Vraska? So here's the thing. If I don't Carnage this turn, there's a good chance my opponent's going to play 3 cards out next turn, which means they won't be able to, I won't be able to get 2 cards out of their hand anymore. Green Apples, a whole year has flown by. Thank you for the 12 months of support. I knight thee, Defender of the Realm. Go forth and protect us from Twitch chat. So I could Carnage, plus I could kill their elf. I think I'm going to do that, actually. Let's Carnage them. And the sequencing on this is important. I want to Carnage them before I kill their elf. And the reason for this is I want them to discard thinking they're going to have the extra mana from the elf next turn, because it might factor into the decision of which cards they end up binning. So, like, if my opponent kept a 6 mana spell here, thinking they could guarantee cast it, well, now they might not be able to cast it if they don't draw a land.
Why balance comes.
needing that.
So someone asked why I didn't attack last turn. This is a great example of why I didn't. I didn't want to trade my Gruul Spellbreaker for their Jade Light Ranger because I had Vraska in my hand, which could kill it. The Gruul Rhythm deck or the Black-White Angels deck that you can find on my website are probably two of my favorites in terms of power level for Standard currently, best of 3. More Chupacabras, yep. This is going to kill Spellbreaker. I left the Llanowar Elves back this turn because if my opponent drew a 5th land, I did not want them to be able to adapt this and then attack my Vraska for lethal.
Fight them, you maggots!
So I get to play Rhythm here, and then I get to play Rekindling Phoenix using this treasure, and Rhythm's going to give this haste, which will allow me to kill their Vivien, which is nice.
Every defeat is a new beginning.
I think that deck's really sweet, Tread Morrison. We haven't played it with the most recent set update, but I liked it a lot last season. I'm just going to go ahead and let her take 2 here. The Rhythm of the Wild explicitly applies to non-token creatures only. So people commenting on my sequencing there, it doesn't matter. This explicitly says non-token creatures. Beep, beep. Hasty Jeep. Goodbye, green-black. This is probably a Lava Coil matchup. They don't tend to have a ton of flyers. Colossus isn't particularly great either. Spellbreaker actually seems pretty bad in this matchup. It's the type of card that, like, gets outclassed on the ground by all of their, like, explore creatures. Rhythm doesn't seem particularly stellar here. I'm going to go ahead and trim one of those. Maybe I just go ahead and trim 2 of these, actually. I feel like, while it was okay there, this card tends to be good explicitly against aggro to make your creatures a little bit bigger, and against control to make them uncounterable or have haste, and against other mid-range decks, it's just, like, just okay. I don't like Eldritch Reborn in matchups like this because my opponent has lots of ways to... get other things in the way. What's the time estimated till Teamer Pod? We're going to play this deck for another 45 minutes, and then Meankin for about 90 minutes. So about 2 hours till we get to the pod deck. You can find a bunch of great decks for Standard Best of 3 on my website. Click Standard Decks at the top. Pretty easy mulligan here. Just like, not super powerful cards. Need to draw a second land, so might as well not take a risk. Seems very reasonable. Needs to draw some more lands, but we're on the draw, so we get a better chance to see more of them. Thanks, Wits End. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thanks for dropping in today. Am I the one that creates this deck list? Yes, this was a build-around submission, so most of the decks that I play on stream are viewer-powered in some way. Viewers either submit a specific deck, or they send in an archetype that they would like me to build. And in this case, I had someone tell me they would like to see a Jund mid-range deck, so this is what I built up. Huh. I think I'm just gonna Lava Coil something here. I want to use my mana, and I want to slow down their development a little bit. I'm killing the Llanowar Elf rather than the Branchwalker, because if my opponent does something like play a Vivien Reid next turn, I'm gonna be pretty far behind. Alright, well, hopefully we draw lands for the next 2 to 3 turns. That's unfortunate. Poor Theater.
I didn't live through hell to lose. This is nothing.
I wonder if this deck needs some copies of Bedevil or Vraska's Contempt. I'm not playing either of those cards. It's probably a mistake. I guess I have a couple of Assassin's trophies, but I feel like I should probably have some way to, like, kill a Planeswalker directly. Yeah, we're probably a little bit too far behind on board at this point to keep up.
Let's see if you're worthy.
Yeah, let's take the next game on the play. So, Vraska's Contempt and Eldest Reborn do fundamentally different things. Vraska's Contempt's a card that's explicitly getting rid of the card that you want to get rid of, whereas Eldest Reborn sometimes gets rid of the card you want to get rid of, but other times it generates a lot of card advantage for you. So, like, this card is much better against things like Esper and Jeskai control, whereas Vraska's Contempt is better in these mid-range matchups a lot of the time because it gets exactly what you want to get. Put these on UG turns I submitted yesterday. I'd love to see a sideboard before F&M. Sounds good, Dark Edge. Hey, appreciate the biddies. So, Eldest Reborn can kind of get rid of Carnage Tyrant. Eldest Reborn rarely takes the cards you want off the table. Yeah, you can find a current Elf Ball deck list updated with cards from the new set on my website now. Spent all of yesterday updating my website with sweet new decks that we played. Yeah, I'm not going to offer this trade. If they take it, I get pretty far behind. Tilt. Oh, yes, Eldest Reborn often kills Llanowar Elves next to Carnage Tyrant. This deck might have too much beef in it. I might trim some of these Regisaur alphas for some more removal spells. Have a little bit more interaction. I kind of also want to try some Worms in this deck. The Worm's a card I've been really impressed with. What are we doing? Let's take a peekaboo. What we've got. Maybe make some changes here. As Vraska's felt a little bit medium too. Bedevil doesn't seem unreasonable. Where's my worm? Couple of those. I've been really impressed with how flexible this card is. And like, one of the things that makes a card like this really good in this deck is we're talking about how we want some more removal spells. This card is like a removal spell that's also a threat, right? So like, when a removal spell isn't good, this card still has text, and when it is good, it gets to fight something. We got one more slot here. Honestly, I might just want another Incubation Druid. If I'm adding more 6-drops to my deck, I probably don't mind ramping a little bit more. This card's been really impressive to me in the other decks that we've played it in. This doesn't seem unreasonable. I'll trim one Duress and put a Contempt on the board. This is one more way to kill Planeswalkers. The Worm animation is also very good. I concurred with that. So let's hop into another match here. I'll keep the Stream Decker, so the deck list on your screen is current. Theater of Horror seems really mediocre. So TFTFG, I'm gonna be honest. If you didn't have a sub icon next to your name, I'd time you out for that unhelpful, uninspired comment. When you use chat, try and be constructive and specific. So for example, let me counter your statement with a constructive and specific statement. I think Theater of Horrors is very good in this deck because it provides an early way for us to generate a lot of card advantage, and the mixture of early threats that we have, such as Growth Chamber Guardian and Llanowar Elves, as well as Carnival, allow us a lot of easy ways to unlock the cards out from underneath it. Yeah, we time out stuff. If a sub said something especially obnoxious, I do time them out still. But again, that's what you should want to do. So if you want to say this card seems mediocre, explain why you feel it's mediocre. Don't just say card's bad. That's not helpful. That doesn't help people understand why it might be good or bad. I think because I have another Guardian in my hand, I'm just gonna block here. Show your work, correct. I'll be his timeout with Big Boy. Interesting. Opponent's playing some kind of Sultai pile. Seems sweet. Definitely putting this into play here. Do I want to play Phoenix? Well, so like TFTZ, TZTF. I'm just gonna say TZ. TZ, those cards do functionally different things. So like Rhythm of the Wild is a card that helps us be aggressive, while Theater is a card that helps us generate grindy advantage against control decks. So for instance, if you wanted to say something like, I think we should have more cards like Rhythm that allow us to lean into a more aggressive role as opposed to generating card advantage, so thus let's maybe swap Theater out for other aggressive cards, that could be a reasonable way to approach it, and maybe we do want to be more aggressive. But I feel like at the end of the day, if you're approaching this deck or this deck that we have built right now from that perspective, you probably would rather just be playing the straight Gruul aggro deck. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. The straight Gruul rhythm decks that we've been working on have been really impressive, and I've liked them a lot. But I think they go in a little bit different direction than what this deck is going in. So Domri is a card that doesn't consistently generate card advantage. So Domri is a card that's very similar to Rhythm of the Wild, like I was just talking about there, where Domri helps you get aggressive, but he doesn't really help you. He doesn't really help you generate card advantage. And cards like Vivien and Theater, these are things that generate card advantage for us.
I just sparkle. I'm just getting started.
His downtick, that's why I said consistently. His downtick does generate card advantage, but it's not consistent card advantage. It's not card advantage that happens all the time. Huh. So, I'm going to go ahead and shoot this Bloodfast, and then I'm going to Blightning them and play this Growth Chamber Guardian. So the problem with Domri's downtick, if you do some math, the number of creatures you need to have in your deck to consistently hit 2 from Domri's downtick is north of 30. You need to have an absurd number of creatures in your deck. Alright, so do I Carnage 2 cards out of their hand here, or do I play Rekindling Phoenix? Playing Rekindling Phoenix to pressure the Vraska is potentially good. Getting guaranteed cards out of their hand is also excellent, though. The question I have to ask myself is, what are the odds my opponent can play 4 cards next turn? It's incredibly low, right? Like, in order to miss value on this Carnage, they'd have to play 4 cards out of their hand, because they're drawing up to 5, and they're likely only going to play 3. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to play these out so I can pressure their Planeswalker. It's a real shame this can't hit their Planeswalker and just his opponent. So I think I like playing these so that way I can... They're pretty likely to still have 2 cards to take next turn.
Make your captain proud.
Woof. Woof. I guess Vivien, I could trade my Vivien for that. This deals damage to a Planeswalker, right? So, I can shoot this.
Draw and fire.
And then I can Carnival to hit this, plus hit them with Phoenix.
Typical.
Then I'm going to go ahead and adapt this. We're definitely really far behind at this point. Yeah, Grixis is a total bomb in these mid-range matchups. It just goes way over the top of anything that we could be doing here. They've got what, 7 cards in their hand right now? They're just getting pretty buried. When I change a list, do I update my website? Yeah, if we finish playing a deck on stream and I say I want to make these changes to the deck list on my website does update. All the pages on my all the deck list pages on my website are living pages. I add them and remove them as they feel good and bad. Man, we are pretty dead here. This is getting the Grixis back. Yeah, this matchup seems pretty impossible for us. Their deck is incredibly greedy, and we just really can't keep up with it. They're kind of just like going over the top of anything we could produce here. They haven't played any basic lands so far. I guess they need 2 removal spells to not die to the Phoenix next turn, so maybe by virtue of getting aggressive here, we can steal this, because we're definitely not beating our opponent's deck in the long game, right? But next turn, if I draw a land, I can actually adapt this plus play Gruul Spellbreaker, which might let me deal lethal. We might be able to erase what they have going on here. They have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They have 11 mana, so they're going up to 12. So that can't bode well for us. It's another Grixis. The fact they didn't get Grixis back before makes me think that they probably have another one. 1 Doomblade. Please think tramples too, right? Yes, it does. Does in fact flample. We're dead. We're dead. They go block, block. They take 4, 7. God, we're so close. If I hit a land there, they would have died, right? We would have killed them if we hit a land. No, that's just what that sound effect sounds like, Magic Trader. I think Aaron didn't know what all the data meant, and I think that's nonsense. So if I Spellbreaker and gave it haste, and then like they'd block these 2 and they'd take 2, 5, 7. No, we'd be 1 short anyways. It would any game where you're not getting run out of the game, Grixis is very powerful for sure. The problem with Find Fidelity is I think it's just too many cards that don't... Find Fidelity would be too many cards that are just like trying to generate card advantage and not actually having a meaningful impact. I agree, Bega. That's why I think that's a hot garbage take. I probably want Vraska's Contempt, right? Maybe I don't want all 4 Lava Coils. Let's try this. Yeah, so Stoneforge Mystic creates a blue-white mid-range deck. So, one of the things you need to understand is that I play a lot of different decks that people have submitted here, and sitting there just waiting to die for 30 seconds is not good television, and the faster I concede a game that we're incredibly unlikely to win, the more games I'm able to get in, so the more meaningful information I'm able to derive about a deck. I often concede games that are not 100% done, because we're not playing for any prizes here, so it doesn't matter. And even if we were playing for small prizes, it probably still wouldn't matter. I think I'm gonna keep that actually. MTGO will continue to exist and be kept around until it stops making money. So you can see the game you're winning, but opponent's essentially roping. Depends on the situation. What are the strong standard decks on my website right now, in my opinion? I really like Black-White Angels and Gruul Rhythm. Thanks, Popticon. Thanks for watching here. Yeah, the Bant Flash deck is sweet. I enjoy playing it a lot, but I think it's a lower power level in both the Angels decks and the Gruul deck. I try to be conscious of my biases. Like, the Angels deck, the Flash deck is the type of deck that I like playing, but it's like a low power level deck. Roping refers to when people are burning their timer. They're gonna play this stupid. I'm about to get wizard here. Yep. I don't know. This is gonna counter something at some point. Yeah, I am currently using a standing desk. I'm always using a standing desk. It's just sometimes I'm not standing. I think you beat a big board with the tokens deck by simply going wide. You don't need to play a bad card like Tetsu. We've not played any list with Biomancers familiar. What I like about Black White Angels, the card quality in it is incredibly high. Most of your spells are just better than most other people's spells. I don't think so, Vivien. I don't think it really solves any problems that archetype has. With the addition of Seraph of whatever, like, you're just like not wanting for anything really. Yeah, not being able to cast Settle the Wreckage feels real bad. I'm gonna attack with this before I play my spell, because if they played another Frilled Mystic, I don't want them to be able to double block this. All of the deck lists on my website are up to date. I updated all of them yesterday, and I update them every day after I stream. We're losing this race by a lot, huh? Awesome, Soul Spur. Well, thanks for dropping in. Glad you're having a good time. Yeah, this match just seems pretty impossible for us. And sometimes that happens, right? Like, generally speaking, when you're playing Magic, the deck that's greedier or the deck that's going a little bit bigger tends to be favored in these matchups where you're playing against each other. They don't have any blue mana up here, so this should just be dead. And then I go to 4, and I attack them with Carnage Tyrant, and then Trophy plus a block should get me pretty far well off here. Probably Burgle, probably bites it to aggro. If I just play another Carnage Tyrant here now? Yeah, I think so. So I intentionally kept the elf alive there because I have a Carnage Tyrant in my deck to draw. In mid-range decks, how much 6-mana top end can you go? I don't know. It depends on how much ramp you have. Depends on how well you are at not dying in the early game. We should get a Carnage emote? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. How expensive the Black White Angels list is in paper. It's going to be way more expensive right now than it will be 3 weeks from now, because 3 weeks from now, all of the Mythic prices will drop. You're always going to get gouged in paper with the prices of Mythics in the first weekend it releases. I think in best of 1, mid-range is really terrible against Fog. I think in best of 3, a well-built mid-range deck probably dumpsters most Fog decks. The Fog decks are good in best of 1, and they're not great otherwise. So I'm attacking for 14. They have to block at least one of these, right? And if they only block one and they don't have a Frilled Mystic here, I get to trophy the thing they block and then kill them. So, do you have a counter spell? If they have a counter spell here, I'm dead. Otherwise, they're dead. Hey, I'm a geek lad with the brand new tier 1 sub. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Welcome. I'm going to play Drakes this weekend with a total change of 4 uncommons for the new set, which should run about $4. Yep. Usually Grace says, yeah, there's like 18 on SCG. They're still dead, right? Yeah, alright, good. I like how standard on Moto is a budget alternative to Pauper now. That's really funny. If they Vraska the Elf, they still die there, chat. The Trample is happening. If they Vraska the Elf, they still die there. They didn't block with the 4-3 because they were playing to win, as opposed to playing to not lose. I don't think I want to change anything else. Yeah, let's just run it back. I think that was just a concession. It was easier than fighting the concede button. Hey, Chaos with the brand new Prime support. Thank you very much. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month with that. How many times do you normally run a deck before feeling sure about making changes? We tend to make changes every other match or so. To have statistically significant sample sizes basically don't exist in Magic the Gathering. Hey, Dan Harple, thanks for the Prime support. Welcome. So, the thing that makes people good at Magic, the people that are really good at Magic are the ones that are able to accurately estimate reasonable conclusions from small sample sizes. Red Ladder Builder with the brand new tier 1 sub. Thank you very much and welcome. Would you alter your Rhythm Monsters deck for best of 1? No, that main deck's very proactive. I think it's well set up for that. Congrats on the viewer count. You always produce a great viewer count. Well, thank you, Sergeant Dimples, for the biddies. The best anti-aggro deck? Not sure offhand. Alright, well, their start's really slow here, so hopefully, like, double birds backed up by some removal spells can run them out of this game. I definitely think the opponent's deck is heavily favored in games that go long, so if we're gonna win, we need to get under them. Any broad recommendations? Yeah, you can find my preferred Gruul list on my website. If you don't select an avatar after you install Magic Arena, it rotates your avatar at every screen. Alright, so this is like 110% a Lizard Wizard, right? Unlike sets, Jeff rotates frequently. Yep. Brawl never existed on Arena. They had a singleton format on Arena for a hot second. Oh, we could really use our own big dumb dino here. Oh, cower. Bow before the master, chat. This game's so easy. This game's so easy. Nothing but professionalism, chat. Nothing but professionalism here. Magic's great. Arena's wonderful. You know. No blocks, right? Is this a no blocks? They have a second one, we're probably dead. So I'm gonna play this, and I'm gonna leave both my elves back, so that way they need double removal spell to kill us here. If they have double removal spell, we're dead, but I think putting them to 4 so the Rekindling Phoenix is lethal is the right play here. Well, it's not only the cost on Assassin's Trophy versus Bedevil, but Assassin's Trophy is more flexible and kills enchantments as well. There's a lot of good enchantments. Finality is not lethal. Finality means they only attack us for 5 this turn. Yeah, Finality gives it +2, but -4. Oh man, do they have a removal spell for my Phoenix? Rough. Rough. They can't attack us, though, because they're dead on the backswing. Well, we're down. I don't have enough land to play the next Carnage Tyrant. I do, however, have double Theater of Horrors going now, though, so go. The Temur Vanasphere list seems sweet. We're going to play some more of that later today. You cannot trophy your own card. Oh, you know what? I should have trophied the Memorial. It's a pretty big mistake, actually. I 10 out of 10 should have trophied Memorial. Yeah, we're dead. I think even if I had Trophy Memorial with the Frilled Mystic there, we're probably dead. Needed to hit the land naturally. If I would have trophied their thing and then hit the land naturally, it probably would have been okay. Let's play one more with Jun before we move on to Memekin. What's going on, Mr. Missouri? We're gonna play. Someone donated to get Flash back in the queue for tomorrow, and we're gonna try a couple different things. I'm gonna try Llanowar Elves in the Flash deck, I think. Magic cards rotate out of Standard once per year every fall. So next fall, the oldest 4 sets will rotate. Anxious Hippo with the brand new tier 1 sub. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Welcome. This hand's fine. It needs a red source at some point, but it's got Incubation Druid and Crab as plays. We're on the draw, so we're pretty likely to hit a land here. Are the panels kind of diagonal? Oh no. I think you're right that the panels in the back are slightly diagonal. Don't tell Christy. We were like 3/4 of the MTG viewers earlier, Tom. When we were still on the front page, we bumped up over 11,000. Just tilt the camera. Now I can't unsee it either. Oh no. Oh no. Bears and Pants with the brand new Prime support. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Welcome. Ravager Wurm's one of my picks for one of the more impactful cards out of the set. I've been really impressed with Ravager Wurm and Gruul. We haven't played a ton with it in this build, but in the Gruul Rhythm deck, I was very, very happy with it. Woof. Alright, red source please. Red source please. Doink. Nothing but net. Okay, running lanes would be ideal. Okay. Why not attack to bait a block? Because they're not going to block. I'm just saving myself a click. Yeah, I think you're gonna get a lot of play out of Ravager Wurm. I think they're worth the Mythic Wildcard slots if you're ever gonna play red-green decks. It's basically gonna be a staple in most red-green decks in the format. Bant Flash deck looks fun. Any chance we'll be playing on stream tonight? Not today, but we'll definitely be playing the Flash deck tomorrow. Alright, so Llanowar Elves is like that really slow, clunky tap land that, like, eventually dies to a Doomblade, so... This Doom Whisperer is going to hit us down to 8 if they don't have a counterspell for the Vivien. Rude. Alright. Alright, Poppy needs 1 untapped land here. The Bedevil on the Elf tells me they don't have a counterspell, so... Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, no. Really? You do? Whew. Yes. Alright, sweet.
So much already.
Vivien is so powerful. There's just so many good flying threats in this format. So many good flying threats. Wurm, I guess Wurm fights Nicol Bolas, and it destroys things like Azcanta, so it's probably worth keeping in. I mean, if you're playing green-red, Collision Colossus is a great main deck card. I guess this kills both of those things too. How do we feel about Druid? I probably don't mind trimming that card. Actually, I might trim the Gruul Spellbreakers and leave the other couple Druids in. Incubation Druid is really... I love that they keep giving us these mana dorks that, like, have some upside to them. Being able to adapt is really huge. Like, that just gets to stay relevant in the mid to late game is fantastic. Well, Collision's very good against the Drake's deck. That has a ton of flying threats. How are you enjoying the standard format? This standard format, at a glance, feels like they took the old standard format that was great and just added more decks to it, Jin. Seems very reasonable so far. Fantastic curve here. Elf into Elf, Growth Chamber into Rekindling Phoenix. Potentially Ravager Wurm even. Hey, Bifrin, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here with that. And Dark Age Chris, thank you for more bits for Crisis turns. I appreciate the support. Get those all added in when I'm done streaming today. Crazoes, Crazer Ozzy, thank you for the Kaiser. How do we pronounce that? Let me know. Maybe I'll try and remember. Thank you for the Prime support at any rate. Welcome, welcome. Sweet. My opponent has Ritual of Soot. I'm going to be a little bit sad, but I guess the worst case scenario for us here is they discard or counter the Phoenix and then play Ritual of Soot. But the Phoenix does live through Ritual of Soot, which is nice. Ever seen the movie The Usual Suspects? I don't think so. A lot of people are saying that the new pro recruits to WotC like Andrew Brown are a big part of standard success. I agree. I think there's a very good possibility that the fact that they brought in people who are good at baking good Magic decks to help them balance the game is probably a big part of why it's good right now. How do you think Ravager Wurm competes against Tyrant? Yeah, I agree, Zabaka. I think Ravager Wurm is a really good split. I like that Ravager Wurm tends to be better against aggro decks and also offers a little bit of utility against random lands. Alright, so do they have more discard spells here, or is their plan just, like, kill us before I can cast this Wurm and Eldritch Reborn? Lava Coil is very good here. Basically running on E, so, like, my hand's basically doing nothing, right? Like, this hand needs to draw lands, and it needs to draw spells. We did break 10k. We got almost to 11, actually. Black Source, please. Black Source, please. It was a front page day, Jin. We've got one more of those. So next Monday will be our last day on the front page. I mean, that's just so one of the things that you have to realize with lands, I think this is something that a lot of new players don't get, is that even experienced players mess this up. It's very human to remember the times when bad things happen to you as opposed to times when the average case scenario or a good thing happens to you. And a game like Arena lets you play so much Magic so quickly that you're gonna flood and screw a lot because your sample size of games is so large. But if you take a step back and you look at the proportion of games that you're playing and the proportion that you're flooded or the proportion that you're screwed, it's really not that many. It's just a very human response to only recall the ones that feel bad. Because the ones that are just average, they're not, you don't remember those, right? They're not memorable. For newer players, there's people who keep talking about KCI. KCI is a degenerate combo deck that was finally banned out of Magic's Modern format with the Ban and Restricted update today. Magic's Modern format, if you haven't played it before, is basically a bunch of different linear degenerate decks all competing to be the best deck to kill the opponent by turn 3. And it's really weird to me that they banned KCI while leaving all the rest of those decks legal, but, you know, I don't make the decisions. Yeah, they banned KCI this morning. When I find myself on the draw, playing Modern, I find myself on the draw 4 to 1 times other decks more even. I think what you're calling there is good old-fashioned confirmation bias. Everybody out there who thinks that the shuffler's out to get them or that they flood and screw too often, I would encourage you to go seek out an introductory statistics course. There's a lot of free ones online that you can take in places, or if you can afford to go to your local community college and take one there, you'll be better for it. I'm not even doing that. I'm not attacking anybody with that statement. That's just like the truth. You'll be a better Magic player if you have a good grasp of introductory statistics. And there's nothing to be embarrassed about. So for people that don't know my background, I have a master's degree in mathematics. I used to teach introductory statistics classes once upon a time. And this statistics is a topic that's very difficult for a lot of people to wrap their heads around. Hey, thank you very much, Inter Netamon, for the brand new Prime support. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Oh, another Theater of Horrors. All right. Could I do some YouTube teaching? Unfortunately, it's just not a productive use of my time to do YouTube teaching. So, like, for instance, in the last week, I've streamed you know, like 50 hours plus worked another 20 hours outside of that. So there's just like not enough time in the day. Alright, so pretty easy to discard Growth Chamber Guardian here since I have another one hiding under the theater. Really would like to find a land here. Perfect. Bedevil. Alright, so let's go ahead and trophy this and then hit them for 1 and play the land. What work do I do besides streaming? I stream full-time now, Vexion. So I've done a lot of bit of everything. Contributed to a number of open source projects. Like I was an adjunct faculty at one of the local community colleges, a couple other schools in the central Illinois area where I live over time. But I've been streaming full-time here on Twitch since March of last year. So almost a year now. I don't know if I'm pulling teeth, but how's this deck doing? It's sweet. I think it's got the tools to be successful. I think this is a fantastic Theater of Horrors deck, which is just like a mid-range deck that can pressure to trigger this, but also leverage card advantage with card quality is really sweet. My friend wants to get into Standard. What's a decently cheap deck to get them started with? Mono blue or mono red? At Chemistry in Parkland. I worked at Heartland Community College up here in Bloomington. I actually interviewed at Parkland once upon a time. That's forever ago, though. Perfect. So let's shock this in. Let's use theaters to ping them, and then let's play this Llanowar Elf out. Yeah, I did teach for a little while at Heartland. That was actually the last school that I taught at. Alright, so if I draw a land for the turn, I can actually ping them plus bedevil them. Perfect. So I can play this and then use, I'm gonna float the mana here. So the auto tapper is not your friend with Theater of Horrors, because the auto tapper doesn't consider the spells under Theater, I don't believe. So let's do this and then bedevil this. Please never use the word cancer as an insult in my chat again. You've been timed out for 10 minutes. If you come back and do it again, you will be banned. Please and thank you. Hey, Soul Controller with the brand new tier 1 sub. Thank you very much and welcome. I appreciate that. Oh, I forgot our Carnage Tyrant died earlier. That's unfortunate. I didn't play the land under Theater because the land under Theater was a basic forest, and the basic forest wouldn't have cast the Bedevil. Yeah, I don't know that we have outs here. Feels like we're getting buried here. Think when they had the negate for the Bedevil on Nicol Bolas, things kind of went downhill. I guess I could play a Phoenix out here, and that gives me some chump blocking with the Carnage Tyrant. That's probably not unreasonable. I get to play a land plus a Phoenix here. If they, like, somehow don't have a removal spell, my Phoenix plus a Theater activation can kill Nick next turn. I guess I could also reasonably, like, hit a Vraska's Contempt or a Bedevil to kill Nick here. Yeah, we have Llanowar Elves and a couple other early creatures, as well as Rekindling Phoenix that's evasive to trigger the horror. Like, this game our opponents run us out of everything, so, like, obviously we're struggling to trigger it. But, like, that's because we got ground down and they've interacted with us well. I mean, it's easy to draw well when you're drawing 3 cards a turn, right? Like, you're seeing a lot of stuff. No, each theater has the cards underneath it tied directly to it. Yeah, that's gonna be the game. You know about this one. Maybe, so one of the things I chose to do, let's take a look at what we did here and talk about why I built this the way I did. Things that I kind of was and wasn't happy with. The rhythms were like, okay. I was happy with Theater of Horror, and I think this deck actually does have enough ways to hit Theater consistently. Phoenix especially goes a long way towards being an evasive threat to make Theater work. The Carnival Carnages, the Gruul Spellbreakers, and maybe even the Rhythm of the Wilds were not necessarily what I wanted to be doing. I think maybe it's just better to take this deck if I wanted to do it and like build like the green-black core with the Explore package. Like this is 10 cards here, so this could very easily be 2 Wild Growth Walkers, 4 Merfolk Branch Walkers, and 4 Jade Light Rangers. So I don't know, maybe some of these, even just out of the board for the counterspell matchups, could be good. Blunderbra, yeah, they don't care about modern Blunderbra. If you want to play not degenerate formats, you definitely need to check out Standard. So I think if I wanted to try Theater of Horrors out in a Jund Shell again, I would probably push towards being the more traditional green-black deck and like playing the Explore package. All right, what are we doing next? We got Mono Red Memekin up next. Have that one in my deck editor. Of course I do. God bless. Yeah, that card could be okay. I don't know, Gorks. Like at a certain point, like you should probably just play the good cards, and like the Explore package is the good cards. Filtering helps bridge the gap between the early and late game. I don't know, like playing. I think Grix is probably just a worse version of the Explore creatures. Like in a deck without the Explore creatures, it's fine. But with the Explore package, it's